Mincio Park stood outside the tall glass building and looked up. The letters Étoile Couture shined in gold above the entrance. She had seen this store many times in photos, but never in person. Today was different. Today she wanted to see it with her own eyes. She wore simple blue jeans and a white cotton blouse. Her sneakers were comfortable and a bit worn. Her brown leather bag hung from her shoulder. It was old, but she loved it. Mincio didn't wear much makeup. She looked like any normal woman walking down the street in Manhattan. The store was hosting a special event. New spring clothes were being shown to special customers. Mincio had read about it online. She walked toward the entrance. A security guard near the door looked at her. His eyes moved from her shoes to her face. He frowned a little but said nothing. Inside, the store was beautiful. White marble floors reflected the crystal lights hanging from the ceiling. Elegant dresses hung on silver racks. Soft music played in the background. Well-dressed people walked around holding champagne glasses. They looked expensive. Their clothes, their shoes, their jewelry, everything sparkled. Mincio walked slowly, looking at everything. She noticed the stitching on a blue evening gown. The fabric was silk, the kind that felt like water between your fingers. She smiled. The work was excellent. She reached out to touch it gently. "Excuse me?" A sharp voice came from behind her. Mincio turned around. A young man stood there. He wore a black suit that fit perfectly. His hair was styled with gel. He looked at her with cold eyes. "Are you lost?" he asked. His tone was not friendly. "No," Mincio said calmly. "I came to see the new collection. I saw the event online." The man looked her up and down. His lips curved into a small, mean smile. "This is a private event. It's invitation only." "Oh," Mincio said. "I didn't know. Can I still look around? I won't touch anything if you prefer." The young man laughed. It wasn't a kind laugh. "These pieces start at $15,000 each." He paused. "Perhaps you would be more comfortable at the outlet mall. There's one about 20 miles from here." Mincio felt other people looking at her now. She kept her face calm. She had learned long ago not to show when words hurt her. "I understand these are expensive," she said quietly. "I just wanted to see the craftsmanship. The design work is very impressive." "Ma'am, I really think you should leave." The young man crossed his arms. A woman walked over. She was tall and thin, wearing a designer dress that probably cost more than most people earned in a month. Her blonde hair was pulled back tight. She wore red lipstick and too much perfume. "Marcus, what's happening here?" the woman asked. "Just handling it, Clarissa," Marcus said. This woman wandered in from the street. Clarissa looked at Mincio. Her smile was fake, the kind people use when they want to seem nice but aren't. "Oh, darling," she said in a sweet voice that dripped with poison. "This event is invitation only. Our clientele is very particular." She said the last word slowly, like it had special meaning. "I apologize for the confusion," Mincio said. She kept her voice level. "I was interested in seeing the collection. I appreciate good design work." Clarissa's fake smile got bigger. "Oh, how sweet. You've done some Googling about fashion. That's adorable." She turned to Marcus. "Make sure she finds her way out, will you?" Other designers had gathered now. They stood in a small group, whispering to each other. Some of them giggled. They didn't even try to hide it. Mincio saw one young woman in the group who looked uncomfortable. She had kind eyes. But she said nothing. Mincio looked at the blue dress again. She noticed something specific about the hemline. "The stitching pattern on this piece," she said. "It's a modified French seam technique. Very difficult to execute on silk. The designer who made this has excellent skills." Clarissa's eyes widened for a second. She seemed surprised that Mincio knew such details. But then her face turned cold again. "Yes, well, reading Wikipedia doesn't make you a fashion expert, does it?" Marcus stepped closer. "Ma'am, I'm going to have to insist that you leave now. Our manager is busy with actual customers. Don't make me call security." Mincio looked around the store one more time. She looked at the displays, the lighting, the way the staff stood together in their little group. She looked at the customers in their expensive clothes. She saw everything. "I understand," she finally said. "I'll leave." She walked toward the door. The security guard opened it for her, not making eye contact. Behind her, she heard Clarissa's voice. "Crisis handled." "Can you imagine? The nerve of some people just walking in here like they belong." Marcus laughed. Right, I mean, look at those shoes. Those were probably from a discount store. More laughter followed. Mincio stepped outside into the cool air. She didn't look back. Across the street there was a small cafe. Mincio went inside and ordered a cup of coffee. She sat by the window where she could see the Étoile Couture store. She took out her phone. She made several calls. Each conversation was short. Her voice was calm but firm. She took notes on her phone as she talked. After the third call, she looked at the store again. People inside were laughing, drinking, enjoying themselves. They had no idea who had just walked through their door. Mincio had started Étoile Couture 18 years ago. She began with nothing but a sewing machine and a dream. She built the company from the ground up, stitch by stitch. She designed every piece in the first 3 collections herself. She sewed some of them with her own hands. As the company grew, Mincio made a choice. She stayed out of the spotlight. She didn't do interviews. She didn't go to fancy parties. She let the clothes speak for themselves. Most people in the fashion world knew the name Mincio Park, but very few knew her face. She liked it that way. It let her see the truth.
When you're rich and famous, people treat you differently.
They smile and bow and say nice things. But when you look ordinary, you see how people really are. Mincio had visited many of her stores over the years. She dressed simply and watched. Most times the staff was wonderful. They treated everyone with respect. They remembered that fashion was supposed to bring joy, not pain. But sometimes she found stores like this one. Places where the staff forgot what really mattered. Places where people were judged by their shoes and their bags. Places where cruelty had replaced kindness. She had never visited this flagship store before. It was the biggest, most expensive store in the company. She had high hopes for it. Now those hopes were broken. Mincio made one more phone call. "Yes," she said into the phone. "I think it's time for that surprise inspection we discussed. Tomorrow morning. Make sure everyone knows the owner is coming." She paused. "No, don't tell them what I look like. Let's see what happens." She finished her coffee and smiled slightly. It wasn't a happy smile. It was the smile of someone who had just made an important decision. Tomorrow would be interesting. Tomorrow, Clarissa and Marcus and all the others would learn something important. They would learn that clothes don't make a person valuable, that expensive suits don't give you the right to be cruel, that true luxury comes from how you treat people, not how you judge them. Mincio had built this company on love. Love for design, love for beauty, love for the art of making people feel special. Somewhere along the way, this store had forgotten that love. Tomorrow, she would remind them. She stood up, threw away her empty coffee cup, and walked down the street. She looked like just another person in the crowd. Nobody would guess that she owned the building she had just been thrown out of. Nobody would imagine that she had the power to change everything with a single phone call. But that was exactly who Mincio Park was. And tomorrow everyone would know it. The next morning, Rebecca Chen arrived at the store early. She was the store manager. Her phone had been ringing since 6 in the morning. The messages all said the same thing. The owner was coming. Today, to this store. Rebecca's hands shook as she unlocked the front door. In 5 years of managing this store, the owner had never visited. Not once. The owner only sent emails through executives, always polite, always professional. But distant, she called her assistant managers. Emergency meeting. Now. Get everyone here. Within an hour, the entire staff gathered in the back room. Designers, salespeople, security guards, everyone looked nervous. "The owner is coming today," Rebecca announced. "We need this store perfect. Everything must be flawless." Clarissa rolled her eyes. "Relax, Rebecca. We run a tight ship here. The owner will be impressed," Marcus nodded. "We maintain the highest standards. Remember yesterday? We protected the brand image from that inappropriate woman." Rebecca frowned. "What woman?" "Some random person walked in during the event," Clarissa said, waving her hand like it didn't matter. "Completely out of place. Jeans and cheap sneakers. Marcus and I handled it professionally. We asked her to leave." "You asked a customer to leave?" Rebecca's voice rose. "She wasn't a customer," Marcus said. "Trust me. She couldn't afford anything here. We were protecting the brand." Jiwoo Kim, the young designer who had watched yesterday, spoke up quietly. She seemed nice, though. She knew about fashion. She mentioned the French seam technique. Clarissa laughed. "Oh, please, Jiwoo. Anyone can read about sewing online. That doesn't make them our customer." Before Rebecca could respond, her phone rang. It was James Patterson, the regional director. He was her boss's boss. "James, hello," Rebecca said. "Yes, we're all prepared for the owner's visit." "We're ready," she listened. Her face went pale. What did this woman look like? James's voice on the phone sounded stressed. Rebecca put him on speaker. "Clarissa, describe the woman from yesterday." Clarissa sighed like this was a waste of time. "I don't know, plain average height. Probably in her 40s. Black hair, white blouse, jeans, nothing special." "What about her bag?" James asked. His voice sounded strange. Marcus jumped in. "Oh, it was this old brown leather thing. Totally outdated. Why does this matter?" The phone was silent for a moment. Then James spoke very slowly. "What time is the owner arriving, Rebecca?" "You said 10 o'clock, Rebecca answered. "She's already on her way. She left 20 minutes ago." James paused. "Listen to me carefully. That woman you threw out yesterday, I think that was Minseo Park." The room went completely silent. You could hear people breathing. "That's impossible," Clarissa said, but her voice shook. "The owner is, we thought, isn't she some old businessman?" "The owner is a 42-year-old woman who founded this company from nothing," James said. "She stays out of the public eye. Very few people know what she looks like. But I've met her twice on video calls. And she always carries an old brown leather bag. Her mother made it for her." Marcus sat down hard in a chair. His face had no color. "There's more," James continued. "I just looked at your security footage from yesterday. I had the tech team pull it up. That woman, she stood in your store for 30 minutes before you noticed her. She was watching everything. Taking mental notes, Rebecca felt sick. Why would the owner come in secretly? She does it sometimes, James said. She wants to see how stores really operate, how staff really treats customers when they think nobody important is watching." He sighed, and apparently she saw exactly what she needed to see. Clarissa's hands were shaking now. "But we didn't know." "How were we supposed to know?" "That's the point," James said. His voice was hard. "You should treat every person with respect, not just the ones who look rich." Jiwoo spoke up. "I tried to say something. I felt like it was wrong, but I was scared." "Scared of what?" James asked. "Scared of being fired. Scared of being blacklisted in the industry." Jiwoo looked at Clarissa and Marcus. "You two always say that weak people don't belong in fashion, that we have to be tough, keep standards high." Rebecca closed her eyes. She had heard Clarissa say things like that. She had never stopped it. She thought it was just how luxury fashion worked. "Everyone stay there," James said. "I'm 10 minutes away. The owner is 15 minutes away. Do not leave. Do not panic. Just try to breathe." He hung up. The room stayed silent for a long moment. Then Clarissa stood up suddenly. "This is insane. So what if she's the owner? We did our jobs. We protected the brand image. She'll understand that." But her voice didn't sound confident anymore. Marcus put his head in his hands. "We're going to be fired. We humiliated the owner of the company. We didn't know it was her," Clarissa snapped. But she was pacing now, walking back and forth. Rebecca thought about everything that had happened over the past year. The complaints from customers who said they felt unwelcome. The staff members who quit because they didn't like the culture. She had ignored all of it. She thought being tough meant being successful. "There's something else," Jiwoo said quietly. "I've been keeping track. Yesterday wasn't the first time. Last week, Marcus turned away an older man who wanted to buy something for his wife. 2 weeks ago, Clarissa told a young woman that she should work her way up to our brand first. I was giving her motivation," Clarissa said. But she sounded defensive now. "You made her cry," Jiwoo said. "I saw her crying in the bathroom. She had been saving money for months." The front door opened. They all heard it. James Patterson walked in, moving fast. He was sweating even though it was cool outside. He looked at everyone's faces. "She'll be here any minute," he said. "I need you all to understand something. Minseo Park built this company because she believed fashion should bring joy. She started with $200 and a sewing machine. She worked 16-hour days. She slept in her studio. She knows what it's like to have nothing." He looked directly at Clarissa and Marcus. "And you treated her like garbage." "We didn't know," Marcus said again. "That's the problem," James said. "You should treat everyone well, not just people you think are important." A black car pulled up outside. Everyone could see it through the window. The back door opened. Minseo Park stepped out. Today she wore a gray blazer over her white blouse. But she still had the same jeans, the same old leather bag. Her face was calm. She walked toward the store with quiet confidence. Rebecca felt like she might throw up. Minseo walked through the door. The security guard who had frowned at her yesterday jumped forward to open it. She nodded at him politely. She looked around the store slowly. Her eyes saw everything. Then she looked at the group of people standing there. Her face showed no anger, no emotion at all. That was somehow worse than if she had been yelling. Clarissa stepped forward. "Miss Park, I am so deeply sorry." "We had no idea." Minseo held up one hand. Clarissa stopped talking immediately. "Please," Minseo said. Her voice was soft but had power in it. "Continue as if I'm not here. I want to see how you normally operate." "But we need to apologize," Marcus said. He looked like he might cry. "Not yet," Minseo said. She walked to the exact spot where she had stood yesterday, the spot where she had been looking at the blue dress. "First, I want to understand something." She turned to face them all. "When I stood here yesterday admiring the work that my designers created, what exactly made you think I didn't belong?" Nobody answered. "Was it my clothes?" Minseo asked. She looked down at her jeans. "I've had these jeans for 3 years. They're comfortable. I like them." Still silence. "Was it my bag?" She held up the brown leather bag. "My mother made this for me before she died. It's the most valuable thing I own." Clarissa's eyes filled with tears. "Or was it simply that I didn't look like what you think a valuable customer should look like?" Minseo's voice stayed calm. "Tell me, Marcus. Yesterday you mentioned the outlet mall. Do you think customers at our outlet stores are less important?" Marcus couldn't speak. He shook his head. Minseo turned to Clarissa. "And you said your clientele is particular. I want you to explain to me what that means. What makes someone worthy of entering my store?" I was trying to maintain brand prestige," Clarissa whispered. "By judging people on their appearance?" Minseo asked. "By making them feel small? That's not prestige. That's cruelty." She pulled out a tablet. "James, can you pull up the security footage?" James connected his tablet to the large screen on the wall. Video footage appeared. It showed the store from last week. "Watch," Minseo said. They all watched as Marcus approached a man in casual clothes. The man wanted to look at watches for his wife's birthday. Marcus told him, "These pieces are probably out of your range," without even asking what the man wanted to spend. The man left looking embarrassed. "That man," Minseo said, "is David Chen. He's a tech entrepreneur. He sold his company last year for $80 million. He dresses simply because he doesn't care about impressing people. He wanted to spend $50,000 on a watch for his wife. He went to our competitor instead." Marcus looked like he wanted to disappear. The footage changed. It showed Clarissa talking to a young woman. They couldn't hear the words, but they saw the young woman's face fall, saw her walk away quickly. "That young woman had been saving for 8 months," Minseo said. She wanted her first luxury piece, something to celebrate finishing medical school. She went to another store. She posted about it online, said she'd never felt so unwelcome anywhere. Minseo turned off the screen. "I watched footage from the past 3 weeks. I found 11 incidents like this. 11 times when staff at this store made people feel worthless." Rebecca felt tears on her face. "I'm the manager. This is my fault. I set the tone." "Yes," Minseo agreed. "You did." "Tell me, Rebecca, did you read the company values I wrote? They're engraved on a plaque right by the elevator." Rebecca realized she had walked past that plaque 1,000 times. She had never actually read it. Minseo walked to the elevator. She stood next to the bronze plaque. She read it out loud. "Fashion is love made visible. We exist to make every person feel beautiful. Treat each customer like they are the most important person in the world, because in that moment they are." Her voice got quieter. "I wrote that 18 years ago. On the day I opened my first tiny studio, I made a promise to myself. I would never forget what it felt like to be treated as less than, to be invisible." She looked at each person. "You broke that promise. In my name, you made people feel invisible." The weight of her words settled on everyone like a heavy blanket. "What happens now?" James asked quietly. Minseo took a breath. "Now we fix it." Minseo looked at everyone standing in front of her. Their faces were pale. Some were crying. Some looked angry at themselves. Marcus stared at the floor. Clarissa kept wiping her eyes. "Clarissa, Marcus," Minseo said. "You're both suspended immediately. 2 weeks, no pay. James will explain the review process." Clarissa gasped. "Please, I need this job. I have rent, bills." You should have thought about that before you made people feel worthless, Minseo said. Her voice was not mean, just honest. Actions have consequences. She turned to the rest of the staff. Everyone else, I'm staying in New York for 1 week. This store will undergo a complete review. I want to meet with each of you individually. I want to understand how this culture developed. Rebecca stepped forward. Ms. Park, I take full responsibility. I'm the manager. I should have stopped this. You're right, Minseo agreed. You should have. Tell me something, Rebecca. Why didn't you? Rebecca struggled to find words. I thought being exclusive was part of luxury. I thought we had to maintain standards. Keep the brand image perfect. And who told you that? Minseo asked. Nobody told me directly. It's how the industry works. At least I thought it was. Minseo shook her head. The industry is wrong. And we're going to do better. She walked to the center of the store. I want everyone who works here to come out. Sales staff, security, stockroom workers, cleaning crew, everyone. Rebecca made calls. Within minutes, about 30 people gathered. They all looked nervous. Most of them had no idea what was happening. Minseo introduced herself to each person. She shook their hands, asked their names, where they were from, how long they had worked here. A young sales clerk named Sarah was shaking. Am I being fired? Why would I fire you? Minseo asked gently. Because, I don't know. Everyone seems upset. Did you treat customers badly? Minseo asked. No. I love helping people find things. It's my favorite part of the job. Then you have nothing to worry about, Minseo said. She smiled at Sarah. It was the first smile anyone had seen from her today. She addressed the whole group. I want to tell you a story. When I was 24, I had nothing. I was trying to start a fashion company, but I couldn't afford studio space. There was a small boutique in Seoul. The owner let me sit in her window and sketch. She never asked if I could buy anything. She just saw someone who loved fashion. Minseo paused. One day a wealthy woman came in. She was rude to the owner, called her provincial, said the clothes were for poor people. The owner stayed calm. After the woman left, I asked her why she didn't get angry. She said, when you're cruel, you make the world smaller. When you're kind, you make it bigger. The staff listened quietly. That lesson changed my life, Minseo continued. I built this company on that idea. Fashion should make the world bigger. It should welcome people, not push them away. She looked at Clarissa and Marcus. They stood apart from the others, both looking miserable. But somewhere along the way, some people forgot that, Minseo said. They started to think that being exclusive meant being cruel. That luxury meant making people feel small. Jiwoo spoke up. Ms. Park, may I say something? Of course. I saw what happened yesterday. I felt it was wrong. But I was too scared to speak up. Jiwoo's voice cracked. I'm sorry. I should have said something. Why were you scared? Minseo asked. Because Clarissa and Marcus are senior designers. I'm new. I thought if I disagreed with them, I'd be fired. Or blacklisted in the industry. Minseo turned to Clarissa. Is that true? Did you create an environment where people were afraid to speak up? Clarissa didn't answer at first. Then she nodded slowly. I wanted things done my way. I thought I was maintaining standards. But maybe I was just being a bully. It was the first honest thing Clarissa had said all day. At least you can admit it, Minseo said. That's a start. She pulled up a chair and sat down. Everyone else was standing, but she sat. It made her seem more human, less scary. Let me tell you what's going to change, she said. Starting today, we have a new policy. Every person who enters this store is treated with respect. Every single person. I don't care if they're wearing a ball gown or gym clothes. I don't care if they buy something or just want to look. Everyone deserves kindness. Sarah, the young sales clerk, raised her hand timidly. What if someone is being difficult? Like actually rude? Good question, Minseo said. There's a difference between protecting yourself from genuine bad behavior and judging people for how they look. If someone is rude, you handle it professionally, but you never make assumptions about people based on their clothes or their bag or their shoes. She stood up and walked to the blue dress, the one she had admired yesterday. This dress is beautiful. Do you know who designed it? I did, Jiwoo said quietly. Minseo smiled. I thought so. I recognized your style. You have a gift, Jiwoo. Jiwoo looked shocked. You know my work? I review every major piece that goes into our stores, Minseo said. I've been watching your progress. You have talent. But more importantly, you have something rarer. You have kindness. Jiwoo's eyes filled with tears. Minseo turned back to the group. Starting tomorrow, we begin mandatory training. I'll be leading it personally. It's called the Heart of Fashion. We're going to remember why we're here. Not to judge people, not to make ourselves feel superior, but to help people feel beautiful. Rebecca spoke up. What about me? Am I still the manager? That depends, Minseo said. Are you willing to change? Really change?
Yes, Rebecca said immediately.
I see now how wrong I was. I thought I was doing the right thing. But I was just being cold. Then you have a chance to prove it, Minseo said. But one more incident like yesterday and you're done. Understood? Understood, Rebecca said. Minseo looked at her watch. The store opens in 20 minutes. Here's what's going to happen today. I'm going to work the sales floor with you. I want to see how you interact with customers, and I want customers to see that the owner of this company believes in treating everyone well. Marcus finally spoke. Ms. Park, can I say something? Go ahead. I'm sorry. His voice was barely a whisper. I was terrible to you. I judged you without knowing anything about you. I let my own arrogance make me cruel. I'm truly sorry. Minseo studied him. Do you know why you acted that way? Marcus thought about it. I think I felt important when I could decide who belonged and who didn't. It made me feel powerful. At least you're honest, Minseo said. That's more than most people would admit. During your suspension, I want you to think about something. Real power isn't about keeping people out. It's about welcoming them in. She turned to Clarissa. What about you? Clarissa was crying openly now. I don't even know where to start apologizing. I was horrible. Not just yesterday, but for months. Maybe years. I treated people like they were beneath me. I made this job about my ego instead of about the customers. Why did you do it? Minseo asked. I think I was taught that's how fashion works. In design school and my internships, everyone said you had to be tough, exclusive, that letting everyone in would cheapen the brand. And you never questioned that? Minseo asked. No, Clarissa admitted. I just accepted it. I thought it was the price of success. Minseo walked over to her. She stood right in front of Clarissa. Success built on cruelty isn't success. It's just cruelty with nice clothes. Clarissa nodded, unable to speak. You're both suspended for 2 weeks, Minseo said again. When you come back, things will be different. You'll undergo special training. You'll work in our outlet stores to understand all our customers, and you'll have to earn back your positions here. If you can't change, you can't stay. Both of them nodded. Now leave, Minseo said. I have a store to run. Marcus and Clarissa gathered their things and left. The silence after they left was heavy but somehow cleaner. Like something toxic had been removed. Minseo looked at the remaining staff. I know this is hard. Change is always hard, but I promise you this will make us better. All of us. Jiwoo raised her hand again. Ms. Park, you said I'm talented. Did you mean that? I don't say things I don't mean, Minseo replied. Then, can I ask you something? Could you teach me? I've learned so much from books and school, but I want to understand fashion the way you do. With heart, Minseo smiled. I'd be honored. The store opened. The first customers walked in. Minseo greeted them personally. An elderly couple looking for an anniversary gift. A young professional woman searching for interview clothes. A father and daughter browsing together. To each one, Minseo gave the same attention, the same respect, the same warmth. The staff watched and learned. By lunchtime, something had shifted. The store felt different, lighter, more welcoming. Sarah, the young sales clerk, approached Minseo. Thank you, she said. For what? Minseo asked. For reminding us why we're here. I almost forgot. I was starting to think fashion was about being cold and distant. But watching you today, I remember why I wanted this job. To help people feel special. Minseo squeezed her shoulder gently. Never forget that feeling. That's the real luxury. Not the price tags. The feeling. As the day went on, word spread on social media. Someone had recognized Minseo. They tweeted, "The owner of Étoile Couture is working the sales floor in jeans and being incredibly kind to everyone." The tweet went viral. People started sharing their own stories of being treated badly in luxury stores, but also stories of times when staff were wonderful, kind, human. That evening, after the store closed, Minseo gathered the staff one more time. Today was day 1, she said. We have a long way to go, but I'm proud of what I saw today. You treated people well. You remembered what matters. She looked at each face. Fashion isn't about clothes. Not really. It's about how we make people feel. And today you made people feel seen, valued, beautiful. That's the real magic of what we do. As everyone left for the night, Ji-woo stayed behind. Ms. Park, can I ask you something personal? Of course. Why do you still dress so simply? You could wear anything. You own a fashion empire, Minseo smiled. Because I never want to forget where I came from. These simple clothes remind me that value comes from inside, not from labels or prices. She picked up her old brown leather bag. My mother was a seamstress. She sewed for wealthy women who often treated her poorly, but she never let it make her bitter. She taught me that creating beauty is an act of love. When I wear simple clothes and carry this old bag, I remember her. I remember what really matters. Ji-woo understood. That's beautiful. It's also practical, Minseo said with a small laugh. How else would I know how my stores really operate? If I walked in wearing designer clothes and jewelry, everyone would treat me differently. This way I see the truth. They walked out together into the New York evening. Tomorrow would bring more challenges, more changes. But today had been a start. A good start, and sometimes that's all you need. A willingness to change, to do better. To remember that fashion at its heart is about love. The next morning, Minseo arrived at the store before anyone else. She unlocked the door herself and walked through the quiet space. In the early light, the store looked different, peaceful. The dresses hung like sleeping birds. Everything was still. She made coffee in the small staff kitchen. When Rebecca arrived 15 minutes later, she found Minseo sitting at a table, reading through customer feedback forms. You're here early, Rebecca said. Surprised. I wanted some quiet time to read these, Minseo said. She held up a stack of papers. Customer comments from the past 6 months. Some of them are not good. Rebecca sat down looking worried. I should have paid more attention to those. Yes, you should have, Minseo agreed. But now we're going to fix it. Tell me something, Rebecca. Why did you want to work in fashion? Rebecca thought about it. When I was a little girl, my mother took me to a department store. I tried on a fancy dress. The salesperson was so kind. She made me feel like a princess even though we couldn't afford to buy anything. I wanted to make other people feel that way. So what happened? Minseo asked gently. I got promoted, started managing. Got focused on numbers and sales goals. Somewhere along the way I forgot about the little girl in the dressing room. Rebecca's eyes were wet. I forgot why I started. Then let's help you remember, Minseo said. By 9 o'clock the full staff had arrived. Minseo gathered everyone in the store's main area. She had moved furniture around to create a circle. Everyone sat. There were no desks, no barriers, just people in a circle. This is our first training session, Minseo said. I want you to go around the circle. Tell us your name. And tell us about a time when someone in retail or service made you feel special, a time when kindness changed your day. One by one, people shared stories. Sarah talked about a bookstore owner who let her read for hours without buying anything. James, the regional director, talked about a restaurant server who noticed he was sad and brought him free dessert. Ji-woo shared about a fabric store owner in Seoul who taught her about different materials with patience and joy. When it was Minseo's turn, she told a longer story. When I was 23, I wanted to attend a fashion show. It was a small show, nothing fancy, but I couldn't afford a ticket. I stood outside in the rain just hoping to see the dresses as people left. Everyone listened closely. A woman came out. She was wearing one of the dresses from the show. She saw me standing there soaking wet. She asked why I was there. I told her I loved fashion but couldn't afford a ticket. She smiled and said, "Come with me." Minseo's voice got soft. She took me back inside, found me a seat in the back, made sure I could watch the whole show. When it was over, she introduced me to the designer. That designer became my mentor. None of my success would exist without that one moment of kindness. Who was the woman? Sarah asked. I don't know her name, Minseo said. I never saw her again. But I've spent 18 years trying to pay forward what she did for me. That's what we're going to do here. We're going to be that person for someone else. The training continued for 3 hours. They talked about empathy, about seeing people as individuals, not potential sales, about the power of a smile, a kind word, a moment of attention. But what about people who are just looking? One salesperson asked. People who never buy anything? Then you treat them well anyway, Minseo said. Because maybe they're saving up. Maybe they'll buy something next year. Or maybe they'll tell their friends about how wonderful we were. Or maybe they won't do anything at all. It doesn't matter. We treat them well because it's the right thing to do. During lunch break, a woman entered the store. She was in her 60s, wearing a simple house dress and cardigan. She walked slowly, touching fabrics gently. Minseo approached her. Hello, welcome. Is there anything I can help you find? The woman smiled. Oh, I'm not buying anything, dear. I just like to look at beautiful things. I used to sew when I was younger. These fabrics are just lovely. Would you like to sit down? Minseo asked. I can bring you some water. That's very kind, but I don't want to be a bother. You're not a bother, Minseo said warmly. Please sit. Tell me about your sewing. The staff watched as Minseo spent 30 minutes with this woman who wasn't going to buy anything. They talked about fabrics and patterns. About the dresses the woman used to make for her daughters. About how her hands didn't work as well now, but she still loved fashion. When the woman left, she was smiling. Thank you, dear. You made an old lady very happy. After she left, Minseo turned to the watching staff. That is luxury, not the price tag. The time, the attention, the respect. She'll remember this store for the rest of her life, not because she bought something, but because someone cared. Sarah wiped her eyes. I want to be like you, Minseo laughed. I'm nothing special. I just remember to treat people the way I want to be treated. That afternoon, a young woman came in. She looked nervous. She clutched a worn notebook. Minseo recognized her immediately. This was the woman from the security footage. The one Clarissa had turned away 2 weeks ago. Minseo walked over to her. Welcome back. The woman looked surprised. You remember me? Of course. You were looking for something for a special occasion. An interview, I think. The woman's eyes got wide. How did you remember that? Because every customer matters, Minseo said simply. I'm Minseo, and I'd love to help you find something perfect. I'm Emma, the woman said. I've been saving money. I can afford something now. I got the job I was interviewing for. Congratulations, Minseo said. That's wonderful. What kind of work? I'm going to be a junior lawyer at a nonprofit. We help people who can't afford legal services. Minseo smiled. That's beautiful work. You must be very proud. I am, Emma said. And I promised myself that when I got the job, I'd buy something nice. Something that would make me feel confident. I know I was treated badly here before, but I really love your designs. You were treated inexcusably, Minseo said. And I apologize for that. The people who treated you that way are no longer working here. It wasn't exactly true, but they were suspended, which was close enough. It will never happen again, she called Jiwoo over. Jiwoo, this is Emma. She's starting a career helping people. I think she needs something that makes her feel powerful and professional. Can you help us? For the next hour, Minseo and Jiwoo worked with Emma. They pulled different pieces, tried combinations, talked about what made Emma feel confident. They weren't just selling clothes. They were helping Emma see herself as the professional she was becoming. Emma tried on a navy blue suit. The fit was perfect. She looked in the mirror and her whole face changed. She stood taller. Her eyes were bright. This is it, she whispered. This is me. When she looked at the price tag, she bit her lip. It's more than I hoped to spend. But I can make it work. Minseo could have given her a discount. She could have given it to her for free. But she didn't. Because Emma needed to buy this for herself. To prove to herself she could. Instead, Minseo said, we have a payment plan. You can pay over 3 months. No interest. Emma's eyes filled with tears. Really, Minseo said. Everyone should be able to afford something that makes them feel confident. As Emma left with her purchase, she turned back at the door. Thank you. Not just for the suit. For treating me like I mattered. You do matter, Minseo said. Don't ever let anyone make you feel otherwise. After Emma left, Sarah approached Minseo. That was amazing. But can I ask something? Won't the payment plan cost us money and processing fees? Probably a little, Minseo said. But Emma will tell everyone she knows about this experience. She'll remember us forever, and that's worth more than any processing fee. She gathered the staff again. This is what I want you to understand. Fashion isn't about the transaction. It's about the transformation. Emma came in here nervous and unsure. She left feeling powerful. That's what we do. We don't just sell clothes. We help people become who they want to be. The training continued over the next few days. Min Seo worked alongside the staff. She greeted customers. She folded clothes. She cleaned dressing rooms. She showed them that no job was beneath her. On the third day, a famous fashion blogger came in. She was known for reviewing luxury stores. She didn't announce herself. She just browsed. Sarah helped her. Sarah had learned well. She was warm but not pushy. Knowledgeable but not arrogant. She treated the blogger like any other customer. The blogger left and immediately tweeted, "Something has changed at Étoile Couture. Best service I've experienced in luxury retail in years. Genuine kindness. No pretension. This is how it should be done." The tweet got thousands of likes. People started sharing their own Étoile experiences. Most were positive. Some were old stories of being treated badly. But those stories were met with comments like, "They're changing. I went last week and it was completely different." That evening, Min Seo called Clarissa and Marcus. "Your suspension ends in a week. Before you come back, you need to do something. Anything," Marcus said immediately. "I want you both to work at our outlet store in New Jersey for 3 days. Not as designers. As sales associates. I want you to meet the customers you dismissed. I want you to see them as people, not as not good enough." There was silence on the phone. "If you refuse, you're fired," Min Seo said. "If you agree but don't learn anything, you're fired. This is your chance to change." "We'll do it," Clarissa said. "We want to change." Min Seo wasn't sure if they meant it, but she was willing to give them a chance. The next day, she received a call from James. "Min Seo, you need to see this." He sent her a link to a fashion industry article. The headline read, "Étoile Couture, the luxury brand redefining luxury through kindness." The article talked about the changes happening in the Manhattan store. It praised Min Seo for leading by example. It suggested that other luxury brands should follow, but not everyone was happy. Some luxury brand executives commented that this would devalue luxury. That exclusivity was part of the luxury experience. Min Seo read these comments and shook her head. They were missing the point entirely. She posted a statement on the company website. It was simple and direct. Luxury is about quality and craftsmanship. It is about beauty and artistry. It is not about making people feel small. True luxury welcomes everyone to appreciate beauty, even if they cannot afford to own it. Fashion should inspire, not intimidate. We will continue to create beautiful things, but we will do it with open doors and open hearts. The statement was shared thousands of times. Fashion students printed it out and hung it in their studios. Small boutiques used it as a motto. Min Seo had started a conversation, and the fashion world was listening. That night, as she prepared to leave the store, Jiwoo stopped her. "Miss Park, I have something to show you." Jiwoo pulled out a sketchbook. Inside were designs for a new collection. The pieces were beautiful and elegant, but they were also accessible. Designs that could work for different body types, different budgets, different lives. "I call it everyone's fashion," Jiwoo said nervously. "It's probably not fancy enough for Étoile Couture." Min Seo looked through every page. Her eyes got bright. "Jiwoo, this is exactly what Étoile Couture should be. This is perfect." "Really?" Jiwoo could hardly believe it. "Really? I want you to develop this into a full collection. We'll launch it next spring." Jiwoo threw her arms around Min Seo. "Thank you. Thank you for believing in me, for teaching me that fashion can be kind." Min Seo hugged her back. "You already knew that. You just needed someone to tell you it was okay." As Min Seo walked home that night, she felt something she hadn't felt in years. Hope. Real hope that fashion could change, that kindness could be luxury, that her mother's lesson about love could spread beyond one small company. The transformation had begun, and it was beautiful. Clarissa stood outside the New Jersey outlet store and took a deep breath. She had never been to an outlet store before. She thought they were beneath her. Now she was going to work in one. Min Seo had driven her here personally. The drive had been quiet. Clarissa was too nervous to talk much. "Ready?" Min Seo asked. "Not really," Clarissa admitted. "But I need to do this." The outlet store was different from the Manhattan flagship. It was smaller, simpler. The displays were less fancy. But it was clean and bright. And when they walked in, the manager greeted them with a warm smile. "You must be Clarissa," the manager said. Her name was Patricia. She was in her 50s with kind eyes. Welcome. Mincio told me you'd be working with us for a few days. Thank you for having me, Clarissa said quietly. Mincio put a hand on Clarissa's shoulder. Patricia is one of our best managers. Learn from her. Then Mincio left. Clarissa was alone. Patricia showed Clarissa around the store. It was busy. Families browsed together. Young couples held hands while looking at clothes. Older women touched fabrics and smiled. Your job today is simple, Patricia said. Help customers. Listen to them. Be kind. Can you do that? I'll try, Clarissa said. Her first customer was a woman with 3 children. The kids were running around, touching things. The woman looked tired but patient. Can I help you? Clarissa asked, trying to sound friendly. I'm looking for a dress, the woman said. My sister is getting married. I need something nice, but I can't spend more than $200. Clarissa's first thought was that $200 wouldn't buy much. Her second thought was shame for thinking that way. Let me show you some options, she said. They looked at dresses together. The woman tried on several. None of them were right. Too big, too small, wrong color. Clarissa felt frustrated. This was taking forever. Then she remembered Mincio spending an hour with Emma. Never rushing. Never impatient. Tell me about your sister, Clarissa said, changing her approach. What's she like? The woman's face lit up. She's amazing. She's a teacher. She's marrying another teacher. They don't have much money, but they're so happy. I want to look nice in the wedding photos for them. Clarissa understood then. This wasn't about a dress. It was about love. About family. About wanting to celebrate someone special. What's your favorite color? Clarissa asked. Blue, like the ocean. Clarissa found a blue dress. It was simple but elegant. The woman tried it on. When she looked in the mirror, she smiled. Really smiled. This is perfect, she said. And it's $175. I can afford this. As the woman checked out, she turned to Clarissa. Thank you for being patient, for listening. Most stores make me feel like a bother when I bring my kids. After she left, Clarissa sat down for a moment. She realized she had just learned something important. The price didn't matter. The joy did. Her next customer was harder. A man in his 70s came in. He walked with a cane. He was looking for a gift for his wife. It's our 50th anniversary, he said. I want to buy her something beautiful. Clarissa helped him look at scarves, blouses, jewelry, but he couldn't decide. He picked things up, put them down. He seemed confused. Old Clarissa would have been impatient, would have rushed him, but new Clarissa was trying to be better. Tell me about your wife, she said. What does she like? His whole face changed. Oh, she's wonderful. We met when we were 19. She wore a yellow dress. She's loved yellow ever since. Clarissa found a yellow scarf. It was silk, beautifully made, but it cost $150. She saw the man look at the price tag and hesitate. Let me see if we have any sales, Clarissa said. She checked the computer. There was no sale. But she made a decision. She gave him her employee discount. 30% off. I can give you this price, she said, showing him the reduced amount. The man's eyes got wet. Thank you, young lady. This means a lot. As he left, Patricia came over. That was your employee discount. I know, Clarissa said. I wanted him to have it. Patricia smiled. You're learning. The day continued. Clarissa met nurses who shopped on their lunch breaks. Single mothers saving money for job interviews. College students buying their first grown-up clothes. Each person had a story. Each person mattered. By the end of the day, Clarissa was exhausted. But it was a good exhaustion. She had helped people, really helped them. Meanwhile, Marcus was having his own experience at the same outlet store. He started the next day. His first customer was a teenager with her mother. The girl had Down syndrome. She was excited about shopping, touching everything, laughing. Marcus's first instinct was discomfort. He had never worked with someone with a disability before. He didn't know what to say. The mother saw his face. It's okay, she said. She just loves fashion. She gets excited. Marcus felt ashamed. I'm sorry. I want to help. What are you looking for? She has a dance at her school, the mother said. She wants to feel pretty. The girl nodded enthusiastically. Pretty like a princess. Marcus spent 2 hours with them. He learned the girl's name was Sophie. She was 16. She loved purple and sparkles. She had very specific ideas about what she wanted. They found a dress together, purple with a little sparkle at the neckline. When Sophie put it on, she spun around in circles, laughing. Pretty, she said. I'm pretty. You're beautiful, Marcus said. And he meant it. The mother had tears in her eyes. Thank you. Most stores make us feel like we're in the way. You made this special. After they left, Marcus sat in the back room and cried. He realized how wrong he had been about everything. About people. About what mattered. About fashion. Patricia found him. You okay? I've been such a terrible person, Marcus said. I judged everyone. I made people feel small. Sophie was more genuine in 2 hours than I've been in my entire career. But you're learning now, Patricia said. That's what matters. On the third day, both Clarissa and Marcus worked together. They were different people than they had been 3 days ago. Softer. More human. A woman came in who was shopping for professional clothes.
She had just gotten out of prison.
She was trying to rebuild her life. She told them this openly, waiting for judgment. Neither Clarissa nor Marcus judged her. They spent an hour helping her put together interview outfits. They talked about confidence and new beginnings. When she left, she hugged them both. You made me feel human again. Thank you. After work, Minseo picked them up. In the car, she asked, What did you learn? Clarissa spoke first. I learned that every person has a story. That fashion is about helping people feel good about themselves. That price tags don't determine worth. Marcus added, I learned that I've been living in a bubble. That real people, everyday people, they're not less important. They're just people, living their lives, doing their best. Will you treat people differently now? Minseo asked. Yes, they both said together. Then you can come back to work, Minseo said. But things will be different. You'll have new responsibilities. Back in Manhattan, Minseo announced changes at a staff meeting. Clarissa, you're returning as head designer. But you'll also lead our new accessibility initiative. We're designing clothes for people with disabilities. For people who need adaptations. Clarissa nodded. I'd be honored. Marcus, you'll head a new program. We're partnering with job placement organizations. We'll help people from underserved communities access professional clothing. You'll work directly with clients. Marcus smiled. I want to do that. I want to help. The store continued to change. Word spread. More customers came. Not just wealthy people, but everyone. The store became a place where people felt welcome. One afternoon, Emma returned. The young lawyer who had bought the suit. She brought her sister. My sister graduates from nursing school next week, Emma said. I wanted to bring her here, because you made me feel like I mattered. Sarah helped the sister find a professional outfit. The same warmth Emma had received was given to her sister. As they left, Emma stopped Minseo. You changed my life, not just with the suit, but by treating me with respect. I'll never forget it. The fashion blogger who had tweeted about the store visited again. This time she brought a camera crew. They filmed a video about the transformation. This is what luxury should be, she said in the video. Not about keeping people out, but welcoming them in. Not about making people feel small, but helping them feel beautiful. The video went viral. Millions of people watched it. Comments poured in. Most were positive. People shared stories of times they were treated badly in stores, and stories of times they were treated well. Other luxury brands started to pay attention. Some of them criticized Minseo. She's devaluing luxury, they said, but others were inspired. Small changes started happening across the industry. Staff trainings about customer service. New policies about treating everyone with respect. Fashion schools added new courses. Ethical fashion and inclusive design became popular classes. Students cited Minseo as an inspiration. One evening, Minseo received a call from an old mentor, the designer who had helped her years ago. I saw what you're doing, the mentor said. I'm proud of you. You're changing the industry. I'm just trying to do what you taught me, Minseo said. Be kind. Remember that fashion is art and art should touch hearts. You've done more than that, the mentor said. You've reminded everyone that humanity matters more than price tags. That night, Minseo visited her mother's grave in Seoul. She hadn't been back in 2 years. She brought flowers and sat on the grass. I did it, Yama, she said quietly. I almost lost my way. I built a company but forgot why I built it. But I'm back on track now. Fashion with love, just like you taught me. She remembered her mother's words from years ago. When you create something beautiful, do it with love. The person who wears it will feel that love. That's the real magic. Minseo had forgotten that. But now she remembered. And she was teaching others to remember too. Back in New York, Jiwoo was working late on her Everyone's Fashion collection. Minseo had promoted her to Associate Design Director. Jiwoo was nervous but excited. The designs were beautiful. Elegant but practical. Fashionable but accessible. Clothes for real people living real lives. Minseo reviewed the sketches. These are perfect. This is exactly what the world needs, Kron. Are you sure? Jiwoo asked. They're not very exclusive. Exclusive isn't the goal anymore, Minseo said. Beautiful and kind is the goal, and you've achieved both. The collection would launch in 3 months. They decided to do something different. Instead of a traditional fashion show with models, they would use real people, teachers, nurses, bus drivers, artists, people from all walks of life. We're going to show the world that fashion is for everyone, Minseo said. Clarissa and Marcus helped with the collection. They had changed so much in just a few weeks. They were still talented designers, but now they designed with heart. One day, Patricia from the outlet store called Minseo. I have someone I want you to meet. She sent a photo. It was a young woman's design sketches. They were rough but showed promise. Her name is Lisa, Patricia said. She shops at our outlet store. She's been designing clothes in her spare time. She's never had formal training. She works 2 jobs, but she has talent. Minseo looked at the sketches. Patricia was right. There was something special there. Tell her to come to Manhattan, Minseo said. I want to meet her. Lisa came to the flagship store. She was nervous, wearing clothes from the outlet. She clutched her portfolio. Minseo spent 2 hours with her, looking at designs, talking about fashion, about dreams. Have you thought about design school? Minseo asked. I can't afford it, Lisa said. I have student loans from my first degree. I work to pay bills. What if I offered you a scholarship? Minseo said. Full tuition, plus living expenses. In exchange, you work for us part-time. Lisa stared at her. Are you serious? Completely serious. Talent shouldn't be limited by money. Lisa started crying. Why would you do this for me? Because someone did it for me once, Minseo said. And now I'm passing it forward. That night, Minseo announced the Minseo Park Fellowship, a full scholarship for fashion students from low-income backgrounds. They would fund 10 students the first year. The response was overwhelming. Hundreds of applications poured in. Young people with talent but no money. People who dreamed of fashion but thought it was impossible. Minseo reviewed every application personally. She chose 10 students. They came from everywhere. Different backgrounds, different stories, but all had one thing in common. Talent and heart. The fashion industry watched this all happen. Some people were inspired. Others were skeptical, but everyone was paying attention. Minseo had started something big, something that couldn't be stopped. A movement toward kindness in an industry that had forgotten how to be kind. And it was only the beginning. 3 months had passed since that day when Minseo was thrown out of her own store. Everything had changed. The Manhattan flagship store was transformed, not just the way it looked, but the way it felt. Walking into the store now was different. The staff smiled with real warmth. Customers of all kinds browsed together. A young mother with a baby stroller stood next to a wealthy businesswoman. A college student looked at scarves near an elderly couple. Everyone belonged. Sales had increased by 23%. More importantly, customer satisfaction scores were the highest in company history. People left reviews saying things like, finally, a luxury store that treats you like a human being, and I felt welcome for the first time in a high-end store. Rebecca had become an excellent manager. She learned from her mistakes. Now she trained new managers across all the stores, teaching them that kindness and profit could work together. Tonight was special. Étoile Couture was hosting Fashion for All exhibition. It was Jiwoo's Everyone's Fashion collection launch, but it was more than that. It was a statement about what fashion could be. The event was different from typical fashion shows. There were no velvet ropes, no exclusive guest lists. Anyone could come. And people came. Hundreds of them. Fashion students, regular customers, industry professionals, and people who had never been to a fashion event before. The models were not professional models. They were real people. A nurse who worked night shifts. A teacher with 2 kids. A firefighter. A librarian. A bus driver. People of different sizes, ages, abilities. each one wearing Jiwoo's designs beautifully. Min-seo stood in the back watching. She wore her usual simple clothes, jeans and a white blouse, her old leather bag on her shoulder. She smiled as she watched people's reactions. Jiwoo found her. I'm so nervous. What if people don't like it? Look at their faces, Min-seo said. They love it. And they did. People clapped. Some cried. They saw themselves in the models. They saw that fashion could be for them too. One design particularly moved people. It was a dress designed for wheelchair users. Beautiful and elegant, but practical. The model was a woman named Grace who had been paralyzed in an accident 5 years ago. Grace rolled down the runway with confidence. The dress was stunning on her. When she reached the end, everyone stood up. The applause was thunderous. Clarissa stood next to Min-seo crying. That's my design. My mother is here. She's wearing one of my dresses. Min-seo looked and saw Clarissa's mother sitting in the front row. She was in a wheelchair wearing a beautiful dress. She was crying too, looking at her daughter with pride. When did this happen? Min-seo asked. I've been ashamed of my mother for years, Clarissa said quietly. Ashamed that she used a wheelchair. Ashamed that we weren't wealthy. I thought fashion was about perfection, so I hid everything that wasn't perfect. But you taught me that real beauty includes everyone. Go to her, Min-seo said gently. Clarissa went to her mother. They hugged, crying. Years of distance melted away. The audience watched, many of them crying too. This was more than fashion. This was healing. After the show, Min-seo gave a speech. She didn't prepare fancy words. She just spoke from her heart. 18 years ago, I started this company with $200 and a dream. I wanted to create beautiful things. But more than that, I wanted to create joy. Somewhere along the way, I lost sight of that. I let my company become something I didn't recognize. A place where people were judged and excluded. She paused, looking at the crowd. But we're fixing that. Fashion isn't about keeping people out. It's about inviting them in. It's about making everyone feel like they belong in beauty. The crowd applauded. Not polite applause, but real, enthusiastic support. Marcus stood up. He had asked for permission to speak. I want to say something. 3 months ago, I was one of the people who made this store unwelcoming. I judged people by their clothes. I made people feel small. I was wrong. Completely wrong. He looked at the audience. I've spent the past 3 months trying to make up for that. Working with people who need professional clothes but can't afford them. Learning that every person has worth regardless of what they wear. I'm sorry to everyone I hurt. And I'm grateful for the chance to change. People clapped for him too. Not because he was perfect, but because he was trying. Emma stood up next. The young lawyer who had been treated badly before. I want to share something. A few months ago, I came to this store and I was treated terribly. I left crying. I almost gave up on my dream of owning something beautiful. She smiled. But then things changed. I came back and was treated with kindness. Min-seo spent an hour helping me find a suit. That suit changed my life. Not because it was expensive, but because wearing it made me feel confident. I wore it to my first day of work. I wear it every time I need to feel brave. She looked at Min-seo. Thank you for showing me that I deserve kindness, that I belong in beautiful things. The evening continued with more sharing, more stories. A filmmaker stood up and announced that she had been documenting the transformation. She had made a documentary called The Real Face of Fashion. It would premiere next month. This story is important, the filmmaker said. It shows that change is possible, that businesses can be successful and kind at the same time. As the event wound down, an elderly woman approached Min-seo. She looked familiar. Min-seo tried to remember where she had seen her before. You probably don't remember me, the woman said. I came into your store 3 months ago. I was just looking at fabrics. I used to sew. You sat with me for 30 minutes. Talked to me like I mattered. Min-seo remembered. The woman in the house dress who wasn't buying anything. Of course I remember, Min-seo said. How are you? I'm good. I just wanted to thank you. That day I was very lonely. My husband had died recently. I didn't know what to do with myself. You gave me kindness when I needed it most. The woman's eyes were wet. I started sewing again because of you. Just small things. But it gives me purpose, as she handed Min-seo a small package. I made this for you. Min-seo opened it. Inside was a handkerchief, hand-sewn with delicate embroidery. Flowers and birds stitched with obvious love. This is beautiful, Min-seo said, genuinely moved. It's nothing compared to what you create, the woman said. But I wanted to give you something handmade. Like you gave me, Minseo hugged her. This is the most valuable thing anyone has ever given me. She put the handkerchief carefully in her old leather bag, right next to her mother's original sewing needles, which she always carried. Later that night, after everyone left, Minseo stood alone in the store. She looked around at what they had built. Not just a store, but a community. A place where people felt welcome. Jiwoo found her. Are you okay? I'm thinking about my mother, Minseo said. She would be proud of this. Proud that we remembered what matters. Tell me about her, Jiwoo said. Minseo smiled. She was a seamstress. She sewed for wealthy women who often treated her like she was invisible. But she never let it make her bitter. She taught me that creating beauty is an act of love, that every stitch should be made with care because someone will wear it. That's why you dress simply, isn't it? Jiwoo asked. To remember her. To remember where you came from. Yes, Minseo said. And to remind myself that clothes don't make a person valuable. Character does. Kindness does. The next week, the documentary premiered at a film festival. It showed everything. Minseo being thrown out of the store. The staff meeting where truth was revealed. Clarissa and Marcus working at the outlet. The transformation of the store. Real customers sharing their experiences. The film won the Audience Award. More importantly, it started conversations around the world. Fashion schools showed it in classes. Retail companies used it for training. The Minseo Park effect became a term in business schools. Other luxury brands began to change. Some hired Minseo to consult. Others copied her approach. Slowly, the whole industry started to shift. 6 months after the transformation began, Minseo received a letter. It was from a fashion school in Seoul. They wanted to name a building after her mother. The Park Soonja Center for Ethical Fashion Design. Minseo cried when she read it. Her mother, who had been treated as invisible so many times, would be remembered. Would be honored. She flew to Seoul for the dedication ceremony. Standing in front of the building, she thought about her mother's hands. Worn from years of sewing, always moving. Always creating, we did it, Yama, she whispered. Your love is in every stitch, everywhere. The scholarship program grew. The first year they funded 10 students. Now they funded 50. Students from poor neighborhoods, from foster care, from difficult backgrounds. All talented. All getting a chance. Lisa, the first scholarship recipient, was thriving. She showed promise as a designer. But more than that, she showed heart. She never forgot where she came from. 1 year after the incident, the store held an anniversary celebration. Everyone was invited. No guest list. No exclusivity. The store was packed. Minseo walked through the crowd in her jeans and white blouse. Some people recognized her. Others didn't. It didn't matter. She saw Clarissa talking with her mother, both of them laughing. She saw Marcus helping a customer choose a tie, patient and kind. She saw Rebecca training a new employee, teaching them about empathy. She saw Jiwoo sketching in the corner, always creating. And she saw customers, so many customers, young and old, rich and poor, different races, different abilities, different stories, all of them welcome, all of them happy. Sarah, the sales clerk who had been nervous on that first day of training, approached her. Thank you for everything. You changed my life. You changed your own life, Minseo said. I just reminded you of what you already knew. Will you ever wear fancy clothes? Sarah asked, smiling. You own a fashion empire. You could wear anything. Minseo laughed. Maybe someday. But probably not. These clothes remind me of what's important. They keep me honest. As the evening went on, Minseo found herself near the front window. The same window where she had stood a year ago, being judged and dismissed. She touched the glass. A little girl approached her. She was maybe 7 years old, holding her mother's hand. Are you important? The girl asked. Minseo smiled. Not more important than you. My mommy says you own this store. I do. But you're wearing normal clothes. Don't rich people wear fancy things? Minseo knelt down to the girl's level. Do you know what makes someone rich? Not their clothes. Not their money. But how they treat other people. If you're kind to everyone, you're the richest person in the world. The little girl thought about this. I want to be rich like that. Then you will be, Minseo said. The girl's mother had tears in her eyes. Thank you. For everything. for making a store where my daughter feels welcome, where I feel welcome. After they left, Minseo stayed by the window a bit longer. She saw people walking by outside. Some looked in the window with longing. Without thinking, she went outside. "Would you like to come in?" she asked a young man who was looking at the displays. "Everyone's welcome." The young man looked surprised. "I'm not buying anything. I'm just looking." "That's okay," Minseo said. "Come look inside. It's warmer." He came in. She didn't follow him or hover. She just let him explore. He touched fabrics carefully, looked at designs with admiration. Eventually he left with a smile even though he bought nothing. But he would remember this moment. Remember being welcomed. And someday when he could afford it, he would come back. That was the point. Not the immediate sale, but the long-term relationship, the memory of kindness. As the store closed that night, Minseo straightened a display, the same motion she had made a year ago, right before being rejected. But everything was different now. Rebecca approached her. "Thank you for not giving up on us, for teaching us to be better. We taught each other," Minseo said. "That's how growth works." She walked out into the New York night. The street was busy. People everywhere living their lives. She was just another person walking home. Nobody knew who she was. And that was perfect. Her phone buzzed. A message from Jiwoo. "We just got the sales numbers. Best year in company history. And the customer happiness scores are even higher." Minseo smiled. Proof that kindness and success could exist together. That you didn't have to choose between profit and humanity. She stopped at a small park and sat on a bench. The city lights sparkled around her. She thought about the journey. About almost losing her way. About finding it again. Fashion had taught her something important. It wasn't about the clothes. It was about the people who wore them. About making people feel seen, valued, beautiful. Her mother had known this all along. Every stitch an act of love. Every garment a gift to the person who would wear it. Minseo took out the handkerchief the elderly woman had made for her. She held it gently, hand-stitched with love, just like her mother used to do. This was real luxury, not the price tag, not the brand name, but the love woven into every thread, the kindness in every interaction, the humanity in every choice. She put the handkerchief back in her bag and stood up. Tomorrow would bring new challenges, more work to do, more people to help, more changes to make, but tonight she was content. She had built something that mattered, not just a fashion company, but a reminder that business could be kind, that success could be compassionate, that beauty could include everyone. The next morning, Minseo arrived at the store early again. She made coffee and read customer letters. One caught her attention. "Dear Étoile Couture, I used to hate shopping because stores made me feel unwelcome. I'm a plus-size woman and I've been ignored, judged, and dismissed. Yesterday I visited your Manhattan store for the first time. Your staff treated me like a queen. I cried in the dressing room because I felt beautiful. Thank you for reminding me that I deserve kindness. You didn't just sell me a dress. You gave me back my dignity." Minseo saved that letter. She would share it at the next staff meeting. These were the moments that mattered. These were the victories. More stores were adopting their approach now. The transformation was spreading beyond Étoile Couture. Across the fashion industry, things were changing. Slowly but changing. Young designers entering the industry had different values. They wanted to create fashion that included everyone. They saw what Minseo had done and wanted to do the same. Fashion schools were teaching ethics alongside design. Students learned about accessibility, inclusivity, kindness. The next generation would be different. Minseo had started all this by being rejected from her own store, by experiencing firsthand what her customers experienced, by remembering what she had forgotten. Sometimes the best lessons come from painful moments. Sometimes you have to lose your way to find it again. She looked at her reflection in the store window. Still in simple clothes, still carrying her mother's bag, still the same person who had been thrown out a year ago. But everything had changed. The store behind her, the industry around her, and most importantly, the understanding that true luxury isn't about exclusion, it's about inclusion. It's about treating every person like they matter. Because they do. Everyone matters. Every single person who walks through that door carries a story, a dream, a hope, and fashion at its best honors that hope. Minseo turned away from her reflection and walked into the store. Staff were arriving, greeting each other warmly. The store was coming alive for another day of helping people feel beautiful, another day of remembering what matters, another day of fashion done right. And that was luxury enough.